And so this this is an email exchange between Steve, Intel CEO Andy Grove, who's also a mentor and a badass, and then an Intel engineer. And so I think Andy's like 20 years older than Steve, something like that. And it's just hard not to love Andy Grove teaching a younger Steve Jobs. And there's just so many lessons that now, because the Steve Jobs Archive has organized this, that essentially like Andy can teach us at the same time he's teaching Steve, because we're reading along, right? And so this is the background. It says, as Pixar became a leader in graphics, Steve and his mentor, Andy Grove, discussed how Intel might learn from Pixar. When an Intel engineer tried to follow up, Steve resisted. And so we see this email chain between Steve, this engineer at Intel whose name is not released, and then Steve Jobs. And so the engineer's like, hey, I talked to Andy. We're going to study from you. We're taking this really seriously. Like, let's get our two teams together or whatever. And then Steve hits him back. This is in 1995. Pixar's secrets were invented through significant investment over 10 years or more, and we value them highly. What does Intel propose to give Pixar for disclosing and licensing its secrets to Intel? And so the engineer responds, he's like, oh, well, we have not entered into any financial arrangement in exchange for good ideas for our microprocessors in the past, and we don't have an intention to do so in the future. And so then Steve did not like that, and then we see in his response, this approach has not served you well in the past, as evidenced by your poor graphics architectures and performance. Maybe you should think of changing it for the future. And so then Steve emails Andy, and this is gonna be the opening for Andy to school and to teach Steve Jobs, like a younger Steve Jobs. And to Steve's credit, he also says this in the Lost interview, the one I keep referencing that I watched and listened to, in addition to reading this book. He's just like, listen, I don't care about being right. I care about being excellent. So if somebody presents information to me, you can ask people on my team and there's a different opinion, like, I will change my idea. I don't care where the ideas come from. I just want to be excellent. And we see that like in the email, like he has this opinion. He's like, Intel should pay us for this. And Andy's going to correct that and explain why. And Steve has such reverence for the people that laid the foundation that he's working upon that he agrees immediately. And so Steve emails Andy. Andy, maybe it's just me, but I find the engineer's approach extremely arrogant, given Intel's dismal showing in understanding computer graphics architectural issues in the past. If I were going to make hundreds of millions of something, I sure as hell would be willing to pay for the best advice money could buy. Anyway, this isn't a sales pitch. I just wanted you to know what I thought. And so when I read Andy's response, I went and do what I normally do. It's like, I want to know how old they are when they're saying this stuff. And so at this point, it says, I wrote Steve is 40 and Andy is around 60. And so this is what Andy says. He emails Steve back. Steve, I am firmly on the engineer's side on this one. He is taking your offer to help us very seriously. He rounded up the best technical people and was ready to go when you